Good morning, everyone. I'm Joanna from EPIM, and welcome to today's training seminar, Event Data Analytics, New Options for Improving Events. The sessions will be moderated by Mr. Mike Williams. We are excited to have Mr. Corbin as our speaker, who is an expert in technology to improve events. To start, I would like to invite Mr. Sanay, our Executive Director of EPIM, to deliver us our welcome speech.
Good day, our distinguished guests and friends from the industry. Nice to meet you all and welcome to our second online seminar. First of all, thank you again, Mr. Mike Williams, for moderating our seminar. It's all in your hands, and we are very grateful to have Mr. Corbin with us today, a very influential person in the MICE industry, to share his extensive experience and knowledge of event data analytics. In recent years, the pandemic has transformed technology from a nice to have to a must-have in events and exhibitions, and these technologies have indeed provided access to massive data, which opens new opportunities for organizers to learn about your guests and the market. I hope this seminar will give you more insights and is useful for improving your events or business performance. Without further ado, let me pass the floor to Mr. Mike Williams and Mr. Ball. Thank you.
Thank you, and welcome everybody. It's nice to see you all again after a few months since our last training seminar. I've got the great pleasure today of introducing you to Corbin, who's the founder of Corbin & Company. Corbin's based in a beautiful place called Bellingham in Washington State, USA. It's a place where if you haven't been there, you should try and visit. He's certainly chosen one of the best places in the world to live. Corbin's an international speaker, consultant and writer, helping clients with getting their head around meetings and technology to save time and improve productivity. Corbin's got over 20 years of experience running international technology meetings. He transitioned in 1997 to become a highly acclaimed speaker with the ability to make complex subjects understandable and fun. So he'll give us some really good insights today into how the technology movement is working. Corbin is an inductee into the Events Industry Council's Hall of Leaders for 2018, the most prestigious honour in the MICE industry. He's the only person to receive both the Meeting Professionals International Supplier of the Year Award and MPI's International Chapter Leader of the Year Award. Corbin was named 2012, and I'm sure he still is, one of the most influential people in the meetings industry by Successful Meetings and Meetings News magazine, the 5th time he's received this award. Without doubt, Corbin is one of the world's greatest experts on the technology topic for the MICE industry. And I encourage you to ask Corbin as many questions as you can during this session if you've got any queries about technology for our sector. So I welcome Corbin. Corbin's going to talk today about using data analytics and sales automation tools to improve events. New data collection and analysis tools are making serious headways into events and exhibitions. As players make many on-site technology choices, they can use them to add value to marketing campaigns and a significant voice to C-suite conversations. During today's session, you'll learn about how to examine these trends and explore how they can be integrated to assist marketers, improve the attendance experience, and to improve future events. Before we commence, we've got a short survey we'd like to conduct to determine what level of data technology apps that you are using currently in Macau. And also, if you have any questions throughout today's session, please just put them into the chat box, and during some of the breaks during the session, we'll refer to your questions. So please, I encourage you to put any questions you might have. If you're not familiar with some of the terminology that Corbin may talk about today, just please don't be afraid of asking any questions up front. We're going to start off with a few surveys. So I'll hand back to Nigel if you could pop the surveys up. First question for you today is, what are the following data sources are you currently familiar with? And we're going to 5 different types of data sources, and just if you could tick your boxes and submit, and we'll give you 10 seconds to do so. Thank you. Nigel, if you could just pop up the results when they're up. Okay, yeah, mobile apps. It didn't surprise me. Mobile apps 100%. So that's that's good. And we've got 64% that are familiar with registration analytics, and a sizable percentage of people that are familiar with RFID and NFC. So great, and very little knowledge of Beacon. So there you go, Corbin. That'll help you with some of your content today. Can we ask the next question, Nige? Which of these multiple data sources are you already using to collect attendee data at your events? Okay, Nige, when you're ready. Okay, and mobile apps are dominant, and registration analytics is there as well, with very little usage of RFID and NFC. Okay, we've got one for no response to Beacon. So Corbin, Beacon's going to be a good topic for today. Right. One more question to ask the group. If you could pop it up, please, Nigel. Okay, if not, if you're not using these technologies, do you anticipate using them? And if so, when? Currently developing, planning to use the next 1 or 2 years, need to know more beforehand, not going to use them. If you could fill that in. Okay, when you're ready, Nige. Okay, Corbin, you've got a job on hand today. It's need to know more before they start. So everything is relying on you, Corbin, on convincing people that these technologies are worth using and how to use them in the meetings industry. So it's good to see that nobody has indicated they're not going to use them, and there is some development taking place as well. So I'll hand over to the world expert on MICE technologies, Corbin Ball. Over to you, Corbin.
Okay, well, good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you today, and I'll be speaking about how you use data and data and sales automation tools to improve events and trade shows. With that, there's a lot happening in this space, and I'll kind of dive into where that's going to be. We are going through, society in general is going through a digital transformation. It was happening before the pandemic, but COVID has pushed that forward many years in advance in some areas. Virtual hybrid meeting technology has exploded. There have been billions of dollars in funding for these areas, huge amounts of mergers and acquisitions, large numbers of best practices and innovation, and explosion of innovation that has occurred in this space. But that's bleeding out as well. In fact, one of the things that they found with virtual events, that there are many downsides to virtual events, and as well as pluses. The pluses, one of the major pluses was that there are very detailed analytics that can be taken when you do virtual meetings, when you do it online. Now, this demand is going to be bleeding over. When we emerge from the pandemic, there's going to be a greater demand for these type of technologies. I'm going to be speaking about 3 event analytics trends today, and the first one is simply the explosion of event data. There's been so many multiple sources that you can track the attendee journey that has never been available before, and so we'll speak about these multiple sources for that. I'll discuss about software integration. You have all these data sources, but you need to bring it together so you can analyze it, and a software integration is a key component to that. And finally, the importance of data analytics and how that fits into it. I'm going to be going to a number of sites today. Most of them are North American based with this, but the trends are going to be everywhere. They're happening in Singapore, they're happening in Australia, and they will be happening in China and Macau as well. And so the one thing I want to mention, these are just places to illustrate my points. I'm not endorsing any of these products. I've never made a cent of sale on any event technology product, but these are ones that I'm using to illustrate the points. So let's go into the first disruptive trend is that it's event data analytics. The explosion of that has been incredible. In this last 3 years, particularly, it was going before then, but it's been pushed forward very substantially with that. When you look at events in the past and the expos in the past, I call them the black hole of event data management, the on-site event. You had technology to help you before the event, you had technology to help you after the event, but during the event, you're flying blind. You had a little bit of registration data, you may have had a paper survey that you handed out, and it was just, you could not do that. Now, what's happened then with on-site events and expos today, that every touch on a mobile app can be trackable. Every movement can be trackable in real time. And that's the big change that's happening, that you have lots of data sources. So let's take a quick look at the attendee journey, a potential one. First of all, you have the registration component of it that is, excuse me, I'm backing up here. You have the registration component for check-in and badging, and you can take surveys, you can bring in additional information with that. The attendee may go to the keynote address and may tweet about it, may respond to that, they may answer polls. You go to another session and do a Facebook or a Twitter posting with that. You give session feedback through the mobile app or through other social sources. You go onto the exhibit floor and you want to know, what people, what booths did they visit, what type of appointments did they have, what product demos they saw. You go to another session and get more information about what sessions are of interest to them, but the feedback and the poll questions that they've asked during that, and the speaker's questions submitted, and then at the end of the event survey. There are multiple sources of gathering data for that. In fact, a recent study by Steve had asked, how do you collect on-site data? And the traditional registration data is important, but you can see all the range of other ones, from surveys, social media, badge scanning, self-service registration, check-in, and on down the list. There are many ways that people are collecting data for their events. What I want to discuss in this first section is some of these ways, the trends that are happening in terms of these data sources. The largest one is the event, advances in the event registration systems. And the example I'm going to use is Eventry, who during the pandemic merged with a Meeting Play and a number of other companies with that. They have always been high on tracking event data analytics with that. And I'll play a short video to describe some of these different ways that what they're doing with that. And this is an example of some of the different types of data sources that they provide with that. Now, what these companies done, and Eventry is just an example, there are many registration platforms that are doing this during the pandemic. Particularly, there have been a number of mergers and acquisitions, and the technologies that I'm going to speak about now, many of these major registration companies have incorporated them into their platform to provide these additional data sources that they have recognized are so valuable to the measuring the attendee experience. Kind of a basic one is RFID technology. It is it's a relatively inexpensive one that can be put into badges for quite a low cost with that. And I'll play a video that gives you some ideas of the range of things that radio frequency identification can provide within the badge format.
RFID-enabled badges reduce queues and allow organisers to track delegates in and out of the event. If seminars have multiple speakers, a discrete podium scanner will pick up delegate names and job titles, which are displayed on screen in real time. Live reporting allows organisers to track all information in a web portal and even manage multiple events. Smart kiosks recognise delegates and welcome them by name. These touchscreens also display floor plans, social media feeds, advertising, and can even be used for voting. Expo also offers a lead capture application. Organisers can enable an exhibitor to have access to delegate data through a mobile app, where an automated email can be set up to thank the delegate for visiting.
Another area is near field communication, which is a type of RFID with that. And so what it is, the difference with near field communication is that it's proximity based. And so that you need to, essentially it's tap based connectivity, that you'd have to come very close to that, which is considered by some a security feature with that. And there's some really cool technologies that are working out within this space.
Do you ever feel like you're using way too many platforms at your event with event apps, on-site registration, and scanning technologies? Wouldn't it be easier if there was just one app, one system, one dataset, and all your attendees needed was their own smart device? Well, our latest update to the standard event app might be just the answer you're looking for. All your attendees need to do is simply tap their phone at the smart posters around your event to check in for sessions, swap contact details, collect documents. All this by utilizing the NFC contactless chip most commonly used for mobile payments. Attendees can then review the content they've collected using the very same app, which is available for both iOS and Android, and of course giving you all the features you'd expect from an event app. Installing our NFC smart posters at your event is as simple as putting them up on a wall. It's also super quick and easy to set up. First, log into our dashboard to start setting up your event app. Pick which features you need and upload content with a click of a button. Add your smart posters by simply selecting your required functionality and uploading your designs. Click to place your order and your smart posters will then be shipped out, ready to display at your event. Sit back and monitor your event activity in real time using the same dashboard. This is the next step for event technology, bringing the whole event experience back to your attendee's own device. Find out more by getting in touch with the Noodle Live team today.
This technology uses a device that everybody's carrying around their smartphone. Everybody has it with both in the Android and iOS system. They have capabilities of tracking through this. And it's a simple and easy way to do it. I'm going to briefly stop sharing for a second because I think I need to reset this for a second. I'll be just with you for a second. Okay, start sharing screen and going into share here. Okay, well, it still didn't do it. But okay, so let's move on with this. And it's then the area that some of you have mentioned is a little more expensive route, but it's a much more precise way of tracking attendee movement and experience interaction are beacon technologies. And you think of the beacons as a digital lighthouse. It's a small device that sends out a signal. And then if your mobile phone, for example, can receive that, it will recognize that signal and can interact with it. There are two types of beacons. One are the fixed beacons. They are primarily can be used in retail settings with that because you can take these small devices, little pictured on the left. It's can be powered by a battery that can last over a year. You just set it up, and anytime somebody walks into a retail establishment, you can interact with that. But the ones that are most applicable to events are the wearable beacons with that. And there's some really interesting technologies that are happening in the space. Here are two sites that I'm going to show two brief videos about the capabilities of each of these. So first is Hub Events.
Event Smart Track is a cutting-edge lead discovery and intelligence platform for exhibitors and organizers. Our patent-pending technologies combine ultra-portable beacons with our smart, ambient-aware sensors to enable exhibitors and organizers to visualize lead intelligence like never before. Define your networking priorities. Select what types of people you want to meet and from which companies, such as CEOs or directors from security or infrastructure companies. SmartTrack will start discovering leads in your immediate proximity who fit your criteria. By analyzing several key behavioral and profile attributes, SmartTrack will rank and qualify leads and will ensure that you're notified about high-quality leads nearby. No more missed networking opportunities. Whether you're in your booth, in the lobby, or in the coffee lounge, get notified about leads in your immediate vicinity. Explore people around you sorted by distance or title, or other filters that you define. That's not all. SmartTrack will help you strike a well-informed conversation by providing highly contextual information about your leads' affinities and interests based on actual show floor behaviors. Know more about your leads by reading the notes taken on them by your staff. While you're in conversation with your lead, SmartTrack works in the background to automatically exchange business card information. Our advanced algorithms detect face-to-face interactions and only exchange contact information with people whom you talk to. All the leads whom you met, along with the time of the meeting, duration, and location, are listed in your meeting's dashboard. Finally, track and visualize leads with our real-time smart venue maps. It is a whole new way to visualize leads on the show floor.
Another example is from Merit's Global Events, and they have focused on the exhibitor standpoint, and there's some really interesting technologies there as well.
Imagine standing in your booth opening morning and having access to more data than ever before. What key buyers are in the aisle? What kind of decision makers are in your booth? Which products of yours are attendees most interested in? Eventbit answers these questions and more. Each participating attendee will have an Eventbit on their badge. The Eventbit emits a signal that is unique to that attendee. Eventbit allows us to understand attendee behaviors, and attendees will benefit in many new and exciting ways at the event. But for now, let's focus on you, the exhibitor. Do you know who is around you? With Eventbit, you will. Booth View Alerts, which is just one exciting feature of Eventbit, allows you to select the companies you most want to target at the show. When a representative of your identified company is close to your booth, you will receive an alert on your scanning device. Booth View Alerts give you the ability to target key customers and be ready when they're nearby. How busy was your booth? Experian lead retrieval products are able to monitor signals from the attendee's Eventbit, allowing you new insight into behaviors in and around your booth. Your exhibitor portal will now show the key information about your aisle traffic, booth traffic, and demographics of the attendees who visited your booth. You will be able to qualify and sort your collected leads by dwell time to focus on the serious buyers. A revolutionary addition to our product line is the Eventbit Hub, a small battery-operated device with customizable read ranges that can be placed anywhere in your booth for location-specific analysis. The data collected can help you understand exactly what products are most popular with attendees. Even if you use an Experian scanner to collect data, you might benefit from Eventbit hubs to more fully understand behaviors within your booth. Which attendee do you call first? What products are you definitely bringing next year? How big of a booth should you have had? Was your booth adequately staffed? With Eventbit, now you know so much more.
As you can see from these videos, they're very precise and very local based tracking of what people are doing, where they're interested in. The challenge with beacon technology is it's a little more expensive. Kind of the price is dropping, but the minimum price per the beacon itself would be from $5 to $7 with this, and the prices are coming down, but it adds on a cost. But for high-end events, particularly that are these type of tracking, it become very important. It can really pay back. Another area is in smart badges as well. Now,
when attending networking events, meetings, conferences, and trade shows, business professionals need quality, meaningful networking opportunities. But the reality is, many opportunities are being missed, and a lot of time is spent on discussions between people who have little or nothing in common. Today's events need to be more focused and more engaging. And in a competitive industry, it's more important than ever to prove the ROI from attending and hosting events to ensure that dollars spent on meetings produce meaningful, measurable, and actionable results. It all starts with Proxfinity's Networking Smart Badge, an exciting wearable technology. Its matching algorithms visually identify people with shared interests. When they're close enough for a face-to-face connection, participants with matching or complementary interests see their initials light up on each other's badges, so they know exactly who to talk to. Welcome to Proxfinity, the future of networking engagement and event analytics.
So if networking technology is an important part of what you're doing, these type of technologies can really expand. And of course, there are analytics that come out on the other side to see who met with you, with whom, and for how long. Another area is in facial recognition, and this has great potential to improve the event process. One of the leaders with this, one of the pioneers, is Zenus. I've seen their products used. I spoke a couple of years ago in Borneo, and they use this type of technology there as well. So there are many providers. They have outsourced this to many places around the world with that. I'll play the video here.
Being able to quickly register, I worried actually about lines coming in here today and how long it would take, and the fact that it took literally 2 seconds for me to get registered was pretty amazing. I was looking for my registration on my phone, and before I could even pull that up, the facial recognition system had already recognized me and registered me immediately.
Comparing to other events and methods, I think this is much easier, it's much faster, it's like there's no hassle, just scan your face and then you're good to go.
I would love to see that process at an event in the future. It made things very simple. I think it would streamline the registration process, so I absolutely loved it today.
So how this technology works is like prior to registration, the attendee would upload a photo of themselves, and when they come, they just walk up to the booth, and the camera would recognize them and tell them who they are and say yes or no. So it's like quick and easy check-in.
So compared to other systems, this was very easy because basically it just saw your face and the information came up right away.
So our attendees walk up to the screen, they see their face, it recognizes them, their name pops up, and then they are so surprised and delighted, and then the next second, someone just hands them their badge, and they are good to go.
And it's much more than just expediting the registration process, which it can significantly do. These technologies can be used in multiple ways to track data analytics throughout the event. One component of this is the anonymous facial analytics, and Zenus is one of the players here as well, where they have a camera that can fit, you put into a meeting room, and even with hundreds of people in the meeting rooms, it can recognize the count of people in a room and quite accurately predict the gender, the age, and the level of interest that is that they have. Are they bored? Are they interested? Are they unhappy? Are they looking like they don't understand what's happening? These have great opportunities for the show manager, the event planner, and for speakers to know actually how well the presentations are going at any particular time. A similar technology applies to the exhibit booth as well. Track Mini is one. It uses essentially it's an iPhone app that you can put your phone or post it so it points out to the people that are coming to your booth, and you can get some very precise data analytics. It's all anonymous with that, but it's you can get traffic flow by hour on each day. You can determine with pretty good accuracy age, gender, the sentiment analysis of this. You can look at average attention time. You can look at a visitor dwell time, how long they spend in front of their booth or at any parts of your booth with this. And then finally, the one that most of you are familiar with in some way are the mobile event apps, which are ubiquitous now. But the thing is, for data analytics, every touch is trackable. And this comprises a bounty of information about what the attendee journey is. You can find out, how many active users and in app applications and the number of actions per users. You can find out who the top speakers are through surveys or for session downloads and capabilities with that. You find out what the top topics are, what people are most interested with this, and it's very valuable information. And also, who are the most influential people? It may be a speaker, it could be an association leader, member with that. It could be a blogger. I mean, it's just but for the meeting planner to know who the people are that connect other people together, that's extremely valuable information. You'd want to get that information. You make sure that those people are the ones who get information early, because they are the ones that are broadcasted out to others. Of course, there's mobile voting and polls and surveys with the mobile event apps. You can measure dwell time using these types of technology and make heat maps of where people are in an exhibit hall, where they're not, and the times of day they're doing it. You can also, using beacon technology, tied in with beacon technology, for example, this app was used at the South by Southwest conference. It's a music and technology conference that happens every year in Texas. And this can recognize people. You can put your interest areas in there, the topic areas you want to follow, and be notified when people come within range of you using your mobile phone app, and what are the like interests that you have in common. And so this is the event data explosion I've been speaking about. There's so many multiple data sources that you can track the attendee journey, and you can do it very precisely while you're doing it. Mike, have there been any questions that come through before we go on to the next session?
No questions today. If anybody's got a question, just please add it to the chat box. But Corbin, I'd just like to ask you a question. What's a lot of this technology is readily available and organisers are using the technology, but what's the pickup rate like for attendees? Are they buying into this technology? There's concerns over giving out too much personal data, and I'm sure some buyers at exhibitions are not so keen to share too much information. They want to kind of be anonymous during these shows. So you've got any sort of indications what the pickup rate is and the engagement from the participants end?
Sure. Privacy and security are significant issues, and they vary. Your level of privacy that you want really varies with individuals. Some people will let all information out. Some people are wearing tinfoil caps on their head to avoid, being controlled by aliens or whatever. The thing about events and trade shows, typically, people are there to meet other people. They're there to connect. We're wearing badges around our neck and telling our name and company and other information with there. And so I think in the setting of a face-to-face meeting or even virtual hybrid events, people are there to connect with others and find out from each other. And so in these cases, I think the pickup rate is certainly higher. What is really important is that you let people know what data you're using, and that why are you using it, and giving people an option to opt out if they don't want to do that. And so it's being transparent with that. But I think that you'll find that most people will do that if they are given the benefits that they will know they can get the contact information that they want, or the information about the exhibit booth, or the contact with this other individual that you met, either as an exhibitor to attendee or attendee to attendee. So there are many benefits to these technologies to improve that attendee experience.
Corbin, one of the most controversial technologies is facial recognition. Do you find that is a challenge? And you mentioned something about anonymous facial recognition. Can you actually register an event anonymously using facial recognition, or is that more, I think you're referring it to as overall analysis of attendees at events?
That's been one of the things. I mean, that's a hot button is facial recognition. But I think that you're going to see that this is, I mean, as the airlines, at least in the U.S., are starting to use facial recognition to get through the system to check in. I know in China that there are many hotels that use facial recognition to allow people to check in and make that whole check-in process earlier. As long as you provide benefit to the individual, I think that people are open to do that. If it's simply to track, who they are and where they're going, no. But it's if you can provide the benefit. But along that line, there's a concern about that. That's where anonymous facial recognition can come in and provide a lot of data without, tying it to individual persons. And the Zenus and TrackMany are two examples of doing that in an anonymous manner that can provide still very significant information.
Thanks, Corbin. I'll hand back to you for the...
Okay, good. Let's go on to the second trend with that is software integration brings data sources together. And this is going to become crucial. The way that it has been is that oftentimes when you talk event technology, we've been talking about data silos. There are separate sources of technology and they don't share data very well. These are some of the examples that we have had in the past. Registration could be separate from the lead retrieval, separate from the mobile app, and scheduling, presentation management, abstract management. All these things were in separate data silos. And what has happened is that there have been a couple of ways that people have tried to address that. One is by some of the major registration companies in particular have developed an event technology platform. Now, there are benefits to that. It's kind of one-stop shopping. If you can find a technology provider that provides, all the technology you need, it's in one stop. You have fewer vendors. It's less negotiation, and hopefully, not always, but hopefully that you have integration between those separate bits of information. For example, a registration company may be using RFID or NFC or beacon technology and mobile apps, and most all of them have a mobile app, and hopefully they all integrate. But the challenge has been that one size does not fit all. That there are newer technologies that are coming in that you may want to include that that the platform that you're using doesn't use. And sometimes this is changing more, but mature systems tend to be less flexible. So the older an event technology is, the less likely that it easily shares data with other technologies out there. So so what has happened is that there's been a move toward integrations as a service, essentially integration platform as a service. And these are a couple of examples of that. And these are generic. They're not meeting industry or event industry applied, but they are used by event technology companies to bring in different apps. One is Built.io. Another one is Tray.io, which has been used by Steven and other companies to do that. Let me play a quick video about what they do to give you an idea of what these integration as a service platforms do.
Every app you add should make your business faster, better, smarter. But we all know that's not how it works, because integrating even just one app to another is pretty complicated. It takes time. Processes bog down, teams get siloed, and the work never gets done. And with every new app you add, it only gets worse, simply because your data can't flow the way you need it to. For most companies, this integration problem is big. So big, it's causing them to miss out on the bigger opportunity, automation. True competitive advantage comes when you can not only integrate, but actually automate all the processes that are standing between you and driving the growth of your business. Imagine having the power to automate personalization and segmentation in marketing, approvals and follow-up in sales, ticketing and alerting in service, and much, much more. That's why we created the Tray platform, one automation and integration platform that accelerates growth for everyone. Here's how it works. The Tray platform gives you access to the deepest functionality of every app with drag and drop simplicity and ironclad security. Leveraging the power of APIs, our low-code platform puts the power to automate in the hands of anyone, turning everyday people into citizen automators and supercharging automation specialists and product leaders. Your organization can become a well-oiled machine where data flows from app to app, from team to team, so you can grow your business faster and smarter than ever before. Integrate any app and automate your entire business with
and they're talking about APIs, which are application programming interfaces, and that's technology used to be able to for multiple data sources to use that same technique to integrate together, to be able to bring in and use multiple apps together with that. Now, for the events industry, there's been an interesting trend called fusion, and this was done by Freeman, but it's more than just Freeman is a event decorating and event product and a marketing company within a large one in the United States. But there are many companies that have bought into this, and what it is that it's software integration for the events industry, and so it's they use their platform. It's no cost to other companies to do that. And so there have been a lot of people that buy in, and there are multiple stages. The access part of the fusion component of it is provided at no charge, and people can, if you want to, if your technology company wants to integrate with another, this can help you do that and help you through that API designed specifically for the events industry. Now, Freeman will take it up to other levels as well to use that data to provide analytics and design and data science with that. And so, but that's one of the trends that's happening. But kind of the bottom line is that when you start your event or trade show, you need to be looking at something that is an integrated tech stack. Is that some of the places that your technology, your registration technology and your CRM technology should be doing is, integrating housing and travel and into the CRM, into the marketing automation, into the expense and payment card capability, into some of the standard CRM and marketing automation tools with that. So that's the end of the second session, second major trend. Mike, any questions or any comments that come through before I go through my final trend?
Yeah, I have got a question here from Kavi Kemlani. He said that usually here in Macau, we are prone to traditional name card sharing during networking. How much more data is needed during the event from the attendee to make sure they are comfortable with sharing through technology?
That's a whole, it really depends on how people want to connect. And for example, people, and this is an individual decision. You can elect to, you should be able to elect to share as much or as little data or none of the data if you wish to do that. But if you want to connect to others, and then some of the common ways that can be done is your name and email address, but also your social media links, your LinkedIn address and so forth, that you can carry it to another step for true connectivity. But kind of the basic ones would be your basic contact information with that. But that's, again, is a personal decision. It should be a personal decision on the part of the attendee to do. But as I mentioned, with that, and the whole idea about coming to a conference is about meeting with people and sharing information and learning from each other. And so that's would push it in that direction.
Yeah, I've got another question here from Hin. He's saying how cool the technologies are that you've explained today. And the concept is really amazing for me, its potential and for clients. However, those technologies are not familiar for most of the Macau people. How can we convince Macau companies to try and use these technologies? So getting started is a big step, I guess, to think about.
That's true. I mean, I think it's going to be education. I think that one of the key ways that, you know, everybody's carrying around a mobile device. Everybody's used to that. Everybody's becoming used to mobile payment technology and all these things. So you can incorporate. That's one of the kind of low-hanging fruit that you can incorporate into start using these technologies to do that. If you want information, you take your phone out, you tap the screen of, tap the device at the product information that you want for that. You can use that for the course notes in a particular one. You can use that. The mobile event app is really a major integrator. I mean, that can provide the polling and the survey capability. It can provide, the tracking of where they are. If you allow them, there's a lot of things that technology that's used by almost everybody can be used to improve the events. And these other ones kind of tie into that. The NFC technology, RFID technology, those are provided generally by the registration company. And so using these technologies, they're solid. It's a matter of just kind of reaching out and finding those companies that provide those for you. Explain it's going to be a matter of education, explaining why are you using this technology, and giving people choices about how much they want to use it themselves. But I think that that's been one of the things that one of the silver linings in this cloud of the pandemic is that everybody's been pushed forward in terms of using technology. And we've all become video conference experts now, from grade school kids to grandparents, because we've been forced to do that. And I think that this digitization has pushed us all forward. And I think you're going to see this play out as people become more used to doing that. We're using our mobile phones for, ordering all sorts of stuff and paying for it online. So this will apply to the events industry as well.
Thanks, Corbin. He's also just asked for a copy of the presentation. At the end of this, there is some course notes that Corbin is sharing with you. There's also at the end of this presentation, there's also a copy of Corbin's website, which I encourage you to look at, because there's lots of really good information articles in there as well. So we'll mention that again at the end of the session. So Corbin,
sounds good, Mike. I'll carry on. Okay. The third trend is that data analytics become crucial to managing the disparate event data sources with this. And data analytics, it's three major components of it. First of all, as we talked about, is the integration. You need to take all these disparate data sources and put them together and collect that data into one common place. You need to integrate them. And then using tools, you need to analyze that. And this is where artificial intelligence is becoming very useful. And we're going to see this much more in these coming years being used with that to make sense of all these data sources and find out what the key trends are with that, and then to visualize it. Humans are not very good at looking at a huge spreadsheet with numbers on it. We are good at understanding graphs and charts and those type of things. And so if you can visualize it in terms that humans can understand more easily, that's a good thing. That's what the data analytics do that. Now, I just point out a couple of companies that do this. There are others. There are many that have emerged during the pandemic as well. But I'll give you an idea of what they do here. One is VivaStream. And to the left, the first step is you collect the signals. And as you can see in the screen there are tons of different ways you do that, from the beacons to the mobile technology to the email, the management, the surveys, the polls, all that. Then you take all those and you organize those insights. And so in the second one, you see that the kind of the key sources of where people are getting information about the attendee journey. And the major step then is another one. You deliver it back into the systems. You deliver it back into the CRM tools, such as Salesforce.com. You deliver it back to the marketing automation companies such as Eloqua and Marketo and those ones. And so what it is, and the major goal is you collect the data, analyze it, then bring it back to what the individual's journey was, and bring that individual, that attendee record that you're tracking, what they liked, what sessions that they went to, how they answered the polls with this. And there are many things that you can get from this attendee journey with that, and use that to, first of all, market to them for that existing conference, follow up with that, but also to personalize and market them to future events of what be more precisely what they like, and the chances of response are going to increase with that. Another major player is Bear Analytics, which has also expanded quite a bit during the pandemic. I'll play they have exhibitor behavior and loyalty segment. They go into lots of details with this. I'll play the video.
This was a great event. I was really happy to be here. We spent a lot of time tonight sort of talking about our event and how we approach our event from a data perspective and why data is important to us.
By using data, you're better able to personalize your messaging, create relevant value propositions for your attendees to build better relationships, and it also allows you to focus in on where you might be able to capitalize the most.
I think a lot of us have fallen victim to being too reliant on perception in the past. So I think moving into the future, it's very important to have much more specific numbers and to be much more focused on your data.
And if there are 2 or 3 things that we can say that we can do differently and better as a result of driving attendee acquisition, that's really what we're looking to learn here.
I would say that one of the really important things about data, especially right now, is around marketing automation, how we can harness data, how we can attract our customers, and how we can turn it into profit, and to look at a customer as more of a person and not just as a number.
I think data is actually going to have a huge impact on the future of events in general. And from our standpoint, that really gets down to personalizing the experience. And more, that data, I think, is going to make us more effective in being able to do that.
One of the key things that was mentioned in that video is the ability for marketing automation to personalize and make that a more effective tool. Marketing automation is a key component of there. These are some of the major players in North America about that. Many of these are global companies as well, but they can really improve the process. And we can kind of start anywhere. Let's start with these are some of the things that marketing automation does. Let's start with the web analytics with that. Is that first of all, you can go through and see what people are interacting with your website are, what they're interested in, and so forth with that. But then you go into events as well. You can track the lead capture capabilities both online, but at events as well, and to score the value of those leads. Are they hot leads? Are they just looking, those type of things? And then these tools allow for list management to be able to, for internet email marketing with that. You can manage your list to make sure it's clean, make sure it is accurate with that. And the same with the lead nurturing, to follow up with those leads that have contacted you at the event. And if they have they've asked for specific requests, or if they have not followed up or have not responded, to respond back to a system if they need to do that. Then, of course, you get into the CRM integration. All the data here should flow to and from your CRMs, your customer relationship management system with that. And so these are the components of the marketing automation. Now let's look at the live events marketing cycle. And this is also circular. We can kind of jump in at any time with that. But let's start with, if you're going to decide to do an event or an exposition, you're going to start by promoting the event. And then you start collecting pre-event data collection. And so then this goes into your analytics engine with this. And there are 3 types of data analytics. There's descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive. Descriptive tell you what's happening, what type of data, how many people registered, and so forth. Predictive will predict, give estimates based perhaps on past year's estimate, where it's going to go. Is your registration ahead or behind last year's one? And then prescriptive about how you can tweak it to make a better response with that. So that's the analytics component of it. And then you go to on-site data collection, and this ties into the same analytics engine, and then you move into post-data collection, which also ties in with this, goes back, and then that data goes back into your CRM system, your customer relationship management system. And then from that, you will choose who would you like to come to your next event or to market to from after your current event. And you use the marketing automation tools to do that. And then you start the whole circle all over again with that. And so what we've had here, these are the three trends, of significant data trends that have happened. The explosion of data sources with that, the building of software integration platforms, and then finally the use of data analytics to improve the quality of your events. I have some resources, and then I'll turn it over some questions. I have a final slide after this to close up with, but the resources, if you want the copy of the course notes, it's available right there. This is a great time to get a screenshot. My favorites file, this is thousands of event technology companies in 60 different categories. I have hundreds of free articles on my website as well. And if you wish to contact me, I'm available at all the social channels with that. Mike, before my final slide, I just turn it over to you, see if there's questions that have come through, and then we can take it from there.
Yeah, Corbin, I've got one more question here from Kenny Lee, who's from Macau Startup, saying, thank you, Corbin, for fruitful insights. Would also want to check with you on your opinions on people in China and Macau who are more familiar with scanning QR codes for data and information.
Yes, QR codes is a great, easy source of doing that. And it's certainly what the pandemic has, and I'm aware in places, I know that China and Macau you have been mobile centric more so than in the United States with that. And so, but we've seen during the pandemic that QR codes have been widely used in the United States for online ordering of restaurant ordering to a whole range of things. So people have used this pandemic to become more proficient on these kind of basic technologies. And one of them is QR codes. It's simple, it's easy to print. You can get information that you want. The challenge with the QR code is that it's really one way. There's not a data exchange. These other technologies, you can get the information you want, but you are also giving your information to them so that they can contact you. It's a two-way information flow. But QR codes are a fine way of the electronic data exchange.
Yeah, thanks, Corbin. I've got a couple of questions, Corbin. There's no more questions from the participants, but if you have got questions, put them on the chat box. We'll be sort of closing the session fairly soon. But Corbin, I just want to ask you, I think everybody's learned a lot about what kind of technologies out there, and there's lots of different options there. Where does a company start, and what kind of skill sets and level of expertise are required by the event organisers to start the planning and development process for these new tech apps? What do you need in-house before you can start this process?
Well, fortunately, the events industry and exhibition industry are well connected. And so there's lots of information out there. There are lots of, there are blogs, there are websites, there are many publications. Personally, in the United States, there are dozens that are event related, and nearly all of them deal with event technology. In Europe, there is case, and I'm sure, although I'm not as familiar, although I've been to your part of the world a number of times, I'm not familiar with the specific resources there. But there are also professional associations. Two of them that I recommend for your part of the world are ICA, the International Congress and Convention Association, and which particularly focuses on on international association events with that. And we've attended an ICA meeting a few years ago in Shanghai. There are many participants in the China area within ICA, and also UFI, which is the trade show component of that, UFI. And so from those, networking with those individuals from the broader organizations is a great way of sharing and finding out information about that. And of course, the international trade shows are two of the big ones, or three of the big ones are IBTM in Barcelona every year, IMEX in Frankfurt every year, and then IMEX America in the United States are great places they always have strong technology participation, event technology participation, always have sessions on that. So those are great ways to pick up information as well.
Okay, cool. One more question, just one last question before we wrap up. Just about just evidence that the investment in technology is giving greater ROI, and are we seeing a greater shift in levels of attendee satisfaction, engagement, and participation in shows because of these technology applications?
I believe so. I mean, certainly COVID has stalled a lot of this activity for a couple of years with that, and is still just breaking out right now. But I think the change that's happened, the forced digitization that has happened, is going to make people even more open to address using these technologies. And certainly these tools, in my mind, there's no doubt that they can improve the event quality of the event and the quality of the personalization for people coming to events.
Thanks, Corbin. I'll pass back to you for final comments.
Okay, one final slide. What we've been talking about is change, is being open to change. I think there's a lot happening. We're going to see very significant changes in the events and exhibition industries in these next few years as we reemerge from the pandemic. But my favorite quote on change is from Charles Darwin, the writer of The Origin of the Species and the creator of the theory of evolution with that. And he said, "It's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent. It's the one that's most adaptable to change." And so my encouragement to you would be I wanted to show a number of ideas about how technology is changing events, and to be open to these changes and explore them, and perhaps use them to make your events better. It's been a pleasure to join with you this morning with you, this afternoon for me, evening for me. But with this, Mike, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Corbin. You've just heard from the world's expert on technology. There's no person I know in the meetings industry that knows more about technology and has been tracking the trends for the last couple of decades than Corbin. So I really appreciate your time, Corbin, today. As we mentioned, we will share with you the copy of the notes from Corbin's presentation. And you'll see on the last page of his presentation, there are some great contact details of Corbin and his website. And on that website, you'll find lots of great articles, information about tech companies and meetings technology. And I encourage you to look at it. And I think, Corbin, you create an invitation there. If anybody's got any specific questions they'd like to ask, please do, of Corbin. Otherwise, direct any questions back to us, and we're happy to sort of pass them on to Corbin for comment later on. Thanks again, Corbin. I know it's getting late. It's getting dinner time over there in Bellingham in Washington. You must be hungry and looking forward to a drink. Thank you very much for your time, and thanks for IPLIN for hosting today's event, and thank you for everybody participating. See you again.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Corbin.
It's been my pleasure. Thanks.